to ensure proper
tightening.
Hello there. So I have a BMW E46 with the N42 B18 engine, and as most BMW owners do, I too am struggling with oil leaks. So in today's episode I would like to resolve some of them, and mainly we will be focusing on the oil filter housing. I will also replace the oil filter, so stay tuned to see that. So where do the oil leaks come from on the oil filter housing? There are two main gaskets, one between the engine block and the oil filter housing. You can tell that this one is leaking if you have oil pooling down there. And then we have one between the oil filter housing and the oil cooler. You can tell by the residue here that this one is leaking as well. Generally, most people tend to replace the one between the block and the housing. That generally doesn't resolve the oil leak unless you also replace the one between the housing and the cooler. So yeah, why does this happen? Over the course of time, the gaskets, through cycles of heat and cooling down, they get hard, they get brittle. I think we will see this once I remove them, and they stop sealing the surfaces and oil tends to leak. Okay, so to get to those, I will start by removing the engine covers, and we can then replace the gaskets. Okay, so in order to remove the first engine cover, this basically serves as the air intake. It draws the air from the kidney grills into the air box with the air filter. In order to remove it, we have to remove these plastic screws with a flathead screwdriver. There are two of them, and in order to remove this cover, we just have to unbolt these bolts and it will pop right off. So in order to remove the oil filter, I have a cup like this. You just slide it over it. Bam, you unbolt it. I actually bought this before I had a 3D printer, but I'm actually thinking, just for fun, I will try to 3D print this. It is the 86 by 16 key. It fits very well on this, and yeah, just like that. It's loose, so we need to loosen it up first. I had to get the car out of the garage, so as you can imagine, there's quite a bit of oil circulating in the engine, so we have to let it sit for the oil to drip down into the oil pan. So by loosening the oil filter, I allow the air to push onto it and let it drip down into the oil pan. Also, as you can see, there is the alternator sitting down below the oil cooler and the oil filter housing. So I just want to put an old rag there, not to spill any oil there. So I sort of want to protect it. So unfortunately, as you can see, I have the wrong oil filter.
And just like that, I have fucked up. You see, an incorrectly sized oil filter can fuck up your car's life. The same applies to your wife. Don't let her fuck up your life.
This one is specified for the N42 B18 engine, but apparently it's taller. So I'm gonna have to get a new oil filter, so for the time being I will use the old one, but I have a new cap, so I will make sure to replace that. Alright, now I'm gonna try to unplug the oil cooler. So I have a hex.
Are you sure about that?
And it's actually, it's a Torx. Alright, so that's the oil filter housing removed. I'm gonna have to clean all of this up. In the meantime, we can take a look at the oil filter housing itself. So these are the two gaskets. This one seals the surface to the oil cooler. This one seals to the engine block. I saw a video where the guy basically mentions to check this plunger. It's a valve for the oil. So you want to make sure that operates smoothly, and this does appear to be the case here as well. So now I'm gonna remove these gaskets. I wonder how hard they will be, and we will see. Alright, so I have the oil filter housing. Here I have the replacement gaskets. One thing I want to do first, before I remove the old ones, I want to check that they are the right spec.
Please make sure not to cut the gasket in the process.
Right size. So this is the one for the oil cooler, and we can see that's a perfect fit. Good. It's always better to ensure you have the proper parts before you remove the old ones, because this way I know that I can replace them. If I were to remove the old ones and, you know, they would crack or something, I would be stuck without the car. So this is the one for the block, and it's also perfect. Great. All right, the bottom seal, and this one is actually still fairly rubbery. As I mentioned before, I had this replaced by my mechanic some time ago, so this one still feels decent. And for this one, in order to remove it, we kind of want to pry on it, but not anywhere here, because that way we could damage the sealing surfaces. The best place to get it off is right here, because it doesn't really seal any of the chambers, and I think that this screwdriver won't do the job, so I think I will have to get like a needle or something to get it out. Yeah.
Nice.
Alright, so now I kind of want to clean up the gasket surface. As you can see, there are like small residues in there, so I do want to get rid of them. However, I want to be careful. You don't want to apply brake cleaner on the new gaskets because it could damage them. It would make them hard and they wouldn't seal. So I just want to take like a paper towel, spray it with the brake cleaner, clean up the ridges, and then let it sit, let it dry out. You can see there is residue of the old gasket, so we want to get rid of that. Alright, so now I'm going to install the new gaskets. I just want to lightly coat them in oil. And I'm all out of oil because I drive a BMW, but that should be good enough. Gonna have to buy more oil. Alright, so new gaskets. So we can start with the bottom one, I think. The one for the oil cooler. So let's just get it nice and lubricated. There. My clean surface, no! Alright, so let's see. Alright, I think that's in. Now the other one, also gonna use a second glove because it's quite messy. Alright, so let's do that. So it's gonna sit in like that. Great. Let's lightly coat it. All right, so let's install it. And there you go. There it is. And I just have to ensure that it sits in well. Yeah, that should be good enough. Alright, now I'm gonna clean a little bit of these surfaces. I'm not entirely sure if this is the best cloth for the job, because you don't really want to drop any pieces of it into the engine, but hopefully it will work. Okay, and since the gaskets are replaced, now I just have to reassemble the whole thing, which hopefully should be pretty straightforward. Okay, not sure how visible it is, but the wrench should be set to 22 Newton meters. We're gonna go, we'll try to do a crisscross pattern to ensure proper
tightening.
Also, I don't have a long enough extension to get in the back, so this one will be tightened to 22. The rest I think I will have to do by feeling. Alright, so the first one.
A few minutes later.
Still nothing, okay. That feels way too tight.
ensure proper
tightening.
Okay, so that's 22 Newton.
Man, are you retarded? That bolt is obviously broken, just like your life.
Alright, let's start it up now and see if it leaks. I don't see any oil leaks. I'm gonna let the engine run for a while and see after that, but so far it seems pretty nice. Yeah, so it may seem that everything went well except one problem. Yeah, where's the bolt, hey? So the only bolt that was tightened to 22 Newton meters actually snapped.
proper
Tightening.
So the stud is stuck in the engine block. Yeah, probably it's due to the fact that the torque wrench is cheap. Personally, I'm not going to attempt to recover the stud. I called my mechanic and I will let him handle it. I just think that's way out of my experience level for now, removing steel studs from aluminum blocks. Yeah, it's better if he handles it. Maybe sometime in the future I will learn to do that as well and probably get a better torque wrench. In the meantime, I will make sure to replace the oil filter. I will show you that on the video, but yeah, that will be done by my mechanic. Beware of cheap torque wrenches. Alright, so I have the correct size oil filter, so I'm gonna loosen it up, replace it. Well, tomorrow I will have that snapped bolt sorted. Alright, so here you can see a fairly nice comparison what the oil filter looks like after 10,000 kilometers. It's quite big difference. Yeah, I'm not going to be replacing the gaskets on the cap because it is a new cap, but generally when you're replacing the oil filter you want to replace these 3 O-rings to ensure proper seal. Alright, so I have the new oil filter installed. Here is the old one. There doesn't seem to be any forbidden glitter. There is just quite a bit of gunk inside of it. Yeah, this is the oil filter after 10,000 kilometers. I bet the engine could use a little bit of an oil flush, so that is a job for next time. But yeah, that's it. If it weren't for the snapped bolt, would have been a very easy, very quick job, but things get complicated, but hopefully that will be resolved soon. Thank you very much for watching and tune in for more videos.